This presentation is, I'm finding it's not what you normally expect from anything that we've experienced so far. So people get a little bit, I don't know, frustrated, or they don't see where it's coming from because they can't relate to anything of it. So it takes a little bit of time to, reading the books, listening to people's experiences. It really does take a little bit of time to get this, the way it works, because it's different than anything we've encountered so far with the
May I say?
reality that we're accustomed to.
May I say something?
Yes.
So
Yes.
what you're saying is correct, and it's taken me 18 years to be able to recognize something like this. Plus, I've been initiated by two other light and sound masters, and I've done a lot of meditations and a lot of spiritual searching, looking around in other spiritual paths like Sant-Mat, uh, Advaita Vedanta, Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity. I looked into everything there is, and it's it's taken me 18 years to come to this point where I can recognize the new you as something superior even to all the others. So I am not surprised that most people don't even want to try this, because they will think like, oh, what is this? This is like childish. And I know it's not like that, but they will think so. Because, what is this? Nu, you, what is that? They don't understand that these sounds carry the power of existence in them. And they are not sensitive enough to notice the subtle but important changes that the new you is doing to them. So they will just think that a beer works better than the new you, because they are not sensitive enough. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a huge obstacle, I think.
You're right. Yeah, it is. A lot of foundation has gone into this. We prepared ourselves. We've done a lot of work, like you have, both in terms of uh, preparing yourself for this in your own way through the different paths and disciplines you've gone through and other people. And then along the way, the guides sort of direct you and give you hints even before you come into this. When they see somebody that's potentially going to see this, then they stick with them through lifetimes and kind of guide them, gently, until they get to this point where they do have an opportunity to step into this. But it's all along there has to be a really good foundation, or else. And we've come and gone before. We've probably been into this before in different lifetimes, and that's what they say. It makes sense. We've come and gone. We've looked at it a little bit and gone away, come and gone. And Dwayne sees so much of that. People come and go all the time here. So it's it's something you really have to stick to. It's 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 it takes all of yourself to see it as well as stick to it. But the cool thing is that you do have the support. Life supports you, and if you don't stick with it, I mean, you don't have no support. Basically, you're gonna have a good time or not if you leave this, but you just lose the support. I mean, they still are around, the guides, but not in the way that if you're really a participant and contributing something, then they'll really pay attention to you and do what they can to assist you, in your own whatever way you choose to become more awake. And I'm saying that purposely. You're the one that chooses how you're going to become more awake and relate to this isness. So they're just standing by and pointing the way, basically, but you're the one that does it. And that's, I think, what puts a lot of people off, too, is because they have to do it themselves. That's a whole new territory.
Yes, definitely.
I gotta make,
I can attest to that because wherever I went in the spiritual groups, really what's going on is that everybody's looking to the master to do everything for them, and they just praise the master, but that they don't realize that they have to do the figuring out and the discernment and paying attention inwardly to your own awareness and your mind. So I totally respect Dwayne for not doing the master trip, because that is detrimental in so many ways, and I have seen it everywhere. So that's why I decided to go it on alone, and I was alone for a long time. And then when I found the new you, there was no question. There was no question what this is. So
like Zolt was, it's Zolt. We've all been
yes,
through a lot of the failure and disappointment and humiliation in our searches through the religions, and to this point right now, it's almost like a lot of people would just say they've had enough. They're not going to try anything new, that everything that they've tried never turned out to be what they were hoping or wanting. It's like you see the masses of humans that we've been through all these lifetimes, and the history that we've seen of life here on this earth, all the untruth parts of the history, and the little bit that we're becoming aware of the what was really taking place in our previous lives. So it just may be the beginning right now of the light starting to come up, like the sun rising or something for mankind at this time. So maybe it's like, we know it doesn't seem to be for everybody, but it does seem like there's an awful lot of people that maybe are to the point where they want to get out of these psych realms and find out about a better life, to get to know the real self, the real you. We've had so many experiences to get to this point. It seems like all the way back from the rock consciousness or something, all the way through the plants and the fish and the birds and the animals and the human bodies, and all the different experiences and religions and all these things that we've been conditioned with or by from reptilians and their flunkies like the Pope and the queens and kings. And so we've had an awful lot to deal with. It seems like, to get to this point right now, to find something that to test for ourselves, to see if it is what truth is. So it gives us a real purpose too, to be becoming aware and trying to share for others to escape these psych realms, this human farming prison planet stuff. So to be real thankful for the opportunity that we have, because all these, what we call in time, probably millions of years to get to this point. And when we look at like the real guides, Rebazar, TARS, and all the others that, and all the experiences that they had experienced to get to the point of awareness.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you, in the other things you were involved with, if you were aware of Rebazar TARS in any of it.
Me?
Yeah, the masters that you were paying attention to, were they talking about Rebazar TARS?
No, they were not talking about the real guides or Rebazar. I only heard about Rebazar when I went to 2 Ekankar meetings. That was like 15 years ago. And I was totally put off by the whole thing. So nobody teaches about Rebazar except Ekankar and the new presentation.
Oh, I think there's some others. I forget. One's called Varden Carr, and I'm aware of some others that do talk about
I don't know
guides.
everybody. I don't know everybody out there, so I'm just talking about my experience.
Yep, we're very fortunate that we have Rebazar TARS, who's been preparing for us this time right now through Paul Twitchell and through Dwayne, Ava, and those involved right now putting out effort to present this to the world through the projects and by the Skypes and the Facebook and the YouTube and all this modern communication that goes to everybody on Earth practically. So it does seem like now's the time that all the preparation has been being done for. It's like the ground has been worked and prepared, and the seeds have been planted, and the plants are growing and about to be fruitful, be productive from the efforts of Rebazar TARS and Paul and Dwayne and Ava and those involved to do this for the souls of this earth and other planets too, I guess, in the psych realms, so that everybody can become U-tunes that pays attention and wants to see if they can have a new life better than they've ever had, or it's their decision if they want to stay and think this is okay, which seems to be getting worse and worse right in front of our eyes in our very existence in this short life that we've had in these bodies that we have right now.
You know, one thing I use sometimes is this little technique. I say to life, I allow you to show me what it is I'm not aware of. Because most people are full of themselves. They're full of what they know. And they're proud of what they know, knowledge or spiritual things, even, you know, what they've gained through spiritual, their growth, their so-called growth. But there's so much more that we don't know. So It's something I use sometimes. It's just like ask life to show you what you're not aware of, because there's a lot more you're not aware of than you are aware of. I mean, we're just a little point, a little dot in terms of what we know. So there's an adventure for you. It's just like what, and it will. Life will show you. The guides will show you what you're not aware of if you just allow them to. It's just another kind of way of looking at it. So you can um, see it from the point of view where, basically you're going into this unknown area. You just kind of leave what you know behind, because you don't. It was a reference for the time, but now we're going into unmapped territory. So kind of if you have that attitude, you're probably in better shape than if you go into it thinking, oh, I know this or I know that. So basically, and there's another one I used to use is I know nothing, I am nothing, and there's another one, there's a third one. I know nothing, I am nothing. There's another one I can't remember, but
I am nowhere.
Nothing.
Nowhere.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah,
it's
not a negation thing.
Can I ask a question to everybody? Like, if everybody could talk about some of the unknowns that they have discovered recently. Anything.
I can talk about a lot of them. I wasn't aware of anything at all about reptilians, and this stuff that they've created, like the religions and the politics and the educational systems that have conditioned everybody to be thinking there's a God. And
have you met them? Have you met them?
Met who?
The reptilians. Have you talked to them? Have you met them?
Maybe, but not that I know of.
No, but I am asking about something that you know. Hearing about some information is not something you know.
Oh, I see. Yeah, what you're talking about now. Right? Unless you know it's to be like the chemtrails and the vaccines and all those things that we hear about.
It has to be experiential.
Yeah.
Not
yeah.
Hearsay. Hearsay is not knowing anything.
Yeah, right. That's right. I don't know for sure that there are reptilians. I'm hearing about them, so I'm becoming aware of them. But as far as having any experiences that I'm conscious or aware of, I don't.
So what experiences have you had that introduce you to the unknown, or reveal the unknown to you?
That's quite a question. All right.
I have one that's recently, just yesterday, for example. It was something that I couldn't even, it wasn't in my imagination. It just came in, and this is the way I get things. I get impressions. So it was about a relationship I have or had, and it showed me a past life, and it just popped up into my awareness. And it's not something that I imagined. It's just something that was shown to me, and like on a screen, basically. Now I can say, well, I don't believe it, or whatever, or deny it, or I can just take it for whatever. But it just seemed to make sense with the way I know this person and everything that we've gone through. Oh, this is why this is so. This is why we have a certain type of relationship. It was shown to me in a past life, a portion of what is going on. And it just popped into my awareness. So that's an example of something that was unknown to me, but now it's known. It's just a snippet, but it makes sense. I don't know if anybody else.
I was just wondering if you were talking about things like Dwayne having his experiences with mermaids and grog, um, and things like that. I guess that's in the dream visions, the real side stuff. We all seem to have a certain amount of dreams that we try to relate to some, and maybe some are self-evident or guide us, but it seems to be quite a difference. Like yourself, do you have any dream experiences that are very important in your life that have had an effect on you?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
You mean since I've been doing the new you or before?
Well, anytime, like met anything that you call a master, or just anything, I guess, that had a big effect on you.
Uh, yeah, I was poisoned several times in a dream. There was somebody chasing me in a dream, or maybe even it was a meditation experience. And this guy who looked somewhat like Lucifer, uh, he was a very sharp dressed, like a sharp dressed man in black, and he was chasing me through this city, and we were flying, but he was faster than me, and he touched me with a syringe, and some liquid came out of the syringe, and I don't know what that did to me, but I had a really rough time in the last 15 years. And then there was a similar experience just when I started the new you. A woman did the same thing. She chased me down and she touched me with a syringe. And I was going to ask Dwayne, like, what does this mean? And
Yeah.
how effective is their attempt to poison me? I mean, I should have died probably 7 times before from different kinds of poisoning, even in the physical. Yes, in the physical, 7 times.
Wow.
7 times they tried to kill me.
Wow. Well, that's probably connected to the dream visions. Was a warning or something too going on about this.
No, these were very separate experiences, long time in between. So, in the last 18 years, maybe like 20 years, last 20 years, I was poisoned 7 times. And,
wow.
Somehow I always pulled through. Like, I don't die.
Do you know who poisoned you?
Different people, agents of the matrix. In some of the cases, the people who do this, they don't even know what they are doing.
Yeah, that's very interesting because you hear things about time travelers and things too, that they know what you're going to do before you do it, and they want to prevent you from doing certain things in this life. So it's all just becoming aware of what's really going on, the why, and why, if it's in this cause and effect psychic realm, the reason that they're wanting to poison you? What causes them to do that?